experience. He played, I think, that's the only time I played with anybody, the member guests in our golf club. Mark came to play. We had an absolutely glorious day, socially, fellowship-wise, awful on the golf course. And so we're after the round and standing around a smaller circle than this. Everybody else played, and the beers flowed heavily, and we're just making conversation. Mark says something in his Australian fake accent, I think, and one of the guys staggering, like right where Don is, has his beer, and he's sort of hardly standing up, and he sort of realizes someone speaks Australian here, and he says, "Wait a minute, are you Australian?" Mark says, "Yeah, mate, I am." And I said, "Oh my God, this guy's going to play the Do You Know game. It's a frickin' country. And you're going to take a Do You Know so-and-so." And he starts in, he says, I had a roommate in college who was from Australia. Oh, here it goes. He says, "And I think it was you." And it was. These guys had lost touch for 15 years and hadn't seen each other. And Mark says, "Frank? Yeah, Mark, hey, how are you?" They left for 30 minutes around talking. Mark made a lasting impression.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
So gracious for my odds.
Cool. Sounds like you have some more stories.
Oh man, that'd be later.
Well, I met Mark at the family reunion at Kathy Burke's house every Thanksgiving, and I'd always talk to him, and I would always give him my little joke, "Good day," and Alicia would say, "That's not funny." Yeah. And, I talked to him a little bit, but there was a lot of people around, so we'd go out and watch the boys play on the jet skis and talk a little bit more. But I never knew how smart he was. He was a very humble, kind of reserved, confidence kind of guy. He didn't, insist on talking about himself or he would listen to what you had to say, and he was very polite, and I liked him. I didn't really know him that well. I was reading about him after he passed away, and I thought, wow, I had no idea. But I've known a lot of people in my life, and some of the successful people that I've known love to talk about themselves. Did you know that I went to Duke University? Did you know that I went to Harvard University? And me and Randy and I used to work together, and there was a guy who was always talking about how he went to Duke. I mean, it would be in every meeting.
He still does.
He'd love to talk about himself. But your father wasn't a braggart at all. And then I kind of got to know him a little bit better when we went to the Masters. And I never knew Mark liked golf. And it was almost like we had gone to Egypt, and he was an Egyptologist. He loved every second of going to the Masters. And we walked around to every hole, and I think he got a little tired, and he just had a blast that day. So I wish I'd have known him better, but we had a really good day that day.
Amen Corner, is that what it's called?
That's part of it.
It is his screensaver still on the desktop from that day. Love that. Yeah.
Well, like many of you, I knew Mark from the Dunlop Thanksgiving parties. And I remember the first time that I met him, I was doing like this, watching. Because my 15-year-old, 14-year-old son, all of our boys were out there on y'all's trampoline. Here's Mark in the middle. I said, "Hi, I'm Gary. I'm JD's dad." JD's now rocketing up through the air, and all the other boys are going everywhere. And he said, "Oh, hey, mate, how you doing?" Just talking to me like nothing's going on. And the thing that always amazed me most about Mark could talk to anyone. It could be little Steven who was here, all the way up to the giant investors, and always make you feel like you're the most important person. always, when you talk to him, his attention was on you. He was a wonderful, gentle man. Something that's very, very rare in mankind. And I always count myself very fortunate to have been able to spend time talking to him about his life and his experiences. And he was just interested in, I mean, I was a history teacher and a football coach, and he was more interested in that than just microbiology and all this other stuff. He always wanted to turn the conversation to you. And that just was one of his gifts. And I'm glad I got a chance to share it. And I'll tell you, if you're any example, if your father's any example, or you're any example of your father, he was a wonderful man. No one is ever gone unless we stop remembering.
Nobody's ever gone what?
Nobody's ever gone.
As long as someone remembers them, they're never gone.
And that will be hard to do.
And usually we only saw him at the Thanksgiving thing, but I always remembered he always made a point to come and said, because we didn't always make it every year, but he would always make a point and say, I'm so glad you're here. You know, and I don't know if there's always a bunch there, but I always knew that I would get to talk to him, or he would come talk to me. Because, you know, it's kind of a free ring circus, you know, busy, everybody's talking to everybody.
That's how we like it.
And that made it fun, but he always made a point to talk and to come and make a point to make you feel welcome. I think we got to see him.
Well, I have a couple of main memories that I always remember about Mark. But the first thing about Mark is going all the way back to first meeting him, of course, is the accent that I don't really even hear anything they're saying after a while. It's just keep on talking. But Mark had that, which not many people do have, but I mean there are people who do, that he had that essence about him that after you'd been around him enough, you trusted everything about him, what he was doing, what he was saying, anything. If he said, you know, Alicia, I think the best thing for you to do right now would be to go jump off that bridge, I'd say, okay. You just trusted what he said and what he did. I mean, he just had that about. He was a great presence. You know, I felt that with him. But he, now I didn't experience this, but I always remember the story about that when he was on an airplane and there was a baby that was crying so much, and he went over and said, "Can I hold your baby?" and held the baby, and it stopped crying, and he's walking up down the aisle with it. I mean, and that was just like, can you just imagine this big prodigy? Can I hold your baby? She was probably like, here.
He always called that new arms.
Yeah.
New arms.
Yeah, exactly. But with the part about believing anything, which you should in this case, but he and I were talking one time about kids drinking sodas and sugar and things like that, and I said, well, you know, on the one hand, if you're going to do it, you'd rather them have a Coke, I guess, than a Diet Coke because of the aspartame and the sweeteners. He goes, well, that's kind of where you really might rethink that. He said, because they've proven that sugar does not cross over into your la 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 la. You know, it doesn't cross your whatever line in your system, and he said, so it's not hurting them a bit. He said, so it won't hurt anybody, so you might do the not sugar. I'm like, oh, but I believed everything he's, you know, after he'd said it, there it is, it's done. And I always remember that. But he was just a sweet, like everybody says, a sweet, kind presence. I mean, he just exuded that all the time. And a lot of fun to be around.
You're talking about parenting. Ann and Mark were really good parents, and you know that, Shane. I think Mark had some definite ideas about parenting and being real careful with his children. And I remember being over at Eddie's mom and dad's house. There was a whole lot of us there, and my mother was there. Matthew was a little baby. And my mother wanted to hold him, and she started walking around the house with him, and Mark was right behind her like that. Like he was so afraid that she was going to drop stop him. And I thought, he really cares, but he acts like a new parent too. Well, probably my age or something like that. But I mean, she might have been in her 60s, but to him, she was probably pretty old and feeble. And then I remembered this was told to me. I didn't see it, but and I might not tell it exactly right, Ann, but they believed in when children did something they shouldn't do, you talk to them about it. And so, and you know, don't resort to spanking. You know, you can talk and reason. And I don't know what it was that Matthew did, but I think Mark got him and set him up on the washing machine, and he was getting close to getting a whack. You know, if you remember anything about that. And so Matthew looked up and said, "Father, can we talk about this?" And then Mark laughed so hard that Matthew didn't get a spank. He didn't get a laugh. And I'm sorry I don't have stories about you, but I got one that's involved. And this one, it just really cracked me up. Ann would be gone on the trip, Mark would be there with the boys, and he wanted to teach them to go potty. And so at night, when everything was dark and you couldn't see too much, he had them run out and pee on the trees. Isn't that right? They run out.
This is like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, you know, after crawl and everything, you run out, and it's like, you don't go till you get to the tree, then you pee on the tree.
Oh, that made it so much fun. Like, I couldn't wait to do it.
So I don't have many stories about you that I have about Matthew because we were around him more, but he sure did do a good job with me. I'm doing.
I didn't have as much time around Mark as a lot of you did, but I spanned the years. And I remember when he was working at a lab right across from where Coca-Cola Company used to be in Winston-Salem. And we'd meet, he and Ann, over at, what was that restaurant? TJ
Deli. That's what I was going to say. That's where I first met him.
And he was working under Professor, I guess, at Lake Forest.
Yeah.
And he kept putting Mark down. And those of us that knew Mark said, you're too smart to be putting up with this. You need to get out from under it. He did. And I remember another one. His doctoral thesis, was that it? When the report came in, he had left that in Australia at his university and had come to the States. And then I think you told me that he submitted a paper that had no grammatical,
No rewrites.
no rewrite. Everything was perfect in it. And we know he got his doctorate out of that. Another time, I was in school in Atlanta, and Mark and Ann came to visit, and had a chance to see Mark a little bit then. We went to St. Louis. Well, I guess you were in Raleigh first, weren't you? You got Ellie?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Ellie was, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks old. Or
Yeah.
6. Ellie's still around?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Mark was on his way to becoming better known, working at a lab out of Raleigh. From there you went to St. Louis, and Sylvia and I passed through there one time in our RV on the way to Tucson. And Mark, I think that was the time he was working, doing some landscaping. And I think most of you have seen these landscape blocks that are about this long, about that thick, and about that deep, and probably weigh pretty close to 70 pounds each. And I think he put about 900 of those landscaping blocks in their backyard. And I'm watching every time he moves his block. He had them. And he also had a workout area in the basement for weights. I don't know if he had the punching bag there.
He had that in Winston. That was
Okay.
like,
He invented CrossFit.
yeah.
He had the bag. It was that big, about that big around and about that tall, hung up. And he spent so much time hitting it. Then he would do the Nordic track. Did he wear it out?
Yeah.
And I think he had some free weights, I'm not sure. But he had a regimen that he followed religiously, working out. Another time we went out there specifically to be part of the grandparents, since both your grandparents have passed. And well, the one in Australia couldn't make it.
Yeah.
We made it out and went to school with you. So that wasn't so much Mark at that time. But he started to move upward and onward, keeping the core view as the core of friendship. We appreciate y'all looking after these two. We talked about Mark being gentle and quiet. I sure am glad he was, because with the conditions he was in, he could have made it hard on anybody. It reminded me of deputy sheriff we had that weighed about 360 pounds and 6'7" at Tanglewood. His favorite expression was to come up. If anybody's causing him trouble, he'd just walk up to him and say, "No, you don't want to cause any trouble. Now do you?" They do, and I don't think anybody would ever want to do Mark hard. Let's see. We got on. I guess I've used enough time. I'll shut up.
Well, we're gonna skip you two.
Okay. They got a few stories. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I was sitting here trying to think of how to like summarize it, but it's like I just got little. Bert will laugh at me because I'm not a bullet point girl. I'm more of a novel kind of girl. But I remember being at her house, and they had one phone that had this long cord in the kitchen, and she could either be in the kitchen or she could be out on the other side. And the phone rings, and it's the old timey on the wall with the ring, and there was a Mark and there was a Mock that was calling on her, and I'm glad she picked Mock. And we were big Magnum fans. When we went to Hawaii, we would look for Tom Selleck in his red Ferrari, and then he ended up marrying one with a better accent. Just those early days, Bowman Gray, where she had a lab. She was working in a lab across the street from him, and you just heard her talking across the hall, hearing about kind of their courtship and all the fun that they had with the friends that they worked with. And I think they'd go to volleyball, and I think they went to the things out at Tanglewood, and they would have their squabbles. And Mark was strong. I mean, you talk about how gentle he was, but he was not going to let Ann get away with being in charge.
Or so he thought.
Or so he thought, yeah.
So I became a flight attendant and moved away.
She met her match with Mark, and I'm so glad.
Yeah, it was like that. And we were, it wasn't one had more power than the other.
Yeah, well, he met his match too, so
Yeah.
they were a good combination. And then he had to go back to Australia. I guess his court visa had run
Yeah,
out, and I'm sure he decided before he left that he did send her a ring from Australia
Oh, he asked Mom for my hand in marriage
before he left.
before he left.
And
And
sent,
he was good friends with Dad. You know, those of you that knew Bill Knox, Mark and Bill would sit out on the front porch smoking cigarettes, talking, bonding. They both had this gentle, right? This gentle, laid-back mannerism. So Mark lost his father when he was a young man, and so he really, the short time he hung out with Dad before he passed away, really.
how many years did they have together?
Not years, it's more like maybe a year. Yeah.
So
They
your
really
dad
bonded.
knew he was in good hands. You were in
And
good
I
hands.
really think that when Dad, when he had a heart attack and he lasted a week, and he was on tubes and stuff, and I really think he said, kind of mumbling, he knew I was there. I think he said, "Are you going to marry Mark?" And I answered him and said, "Yes, I'm going to marry Mark." I have no idea if that's what he said. That's what I told him. But I think he wanted us to be together.
Yeah. That
So,
is, yeah.
they were similar in some ways.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Jump in.
no, this is good. Well, the best thing that I got on Mark, because he was so witty and he would come out with stuff, and I mean, just out of the blue, he would just blow you away sometimes. And then sometimes he was silent, and when he spoke, it was very profound. But when he told me that I was going to have to call him Dr. Uncle Mark after he got his PhD, I said, D-U-M. How about dumb for short? And I can so say that because he so wasn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just fun watching him with Anne and just the way they looked at each other. I've got a picture of her, I think it was at our wedding actually, and Mark actually was one of our videographers at our wedding, and most of the video was
yes,
of
now
this
there.
blonde that was at our wedding in this
peach
pink
suit.
tiny
Did the
sweater dress.
That's the only thing I remember about their wedding. That chick in that
Yeah, we had
outfit.
two videographers going, and he just came over to this girl, Dee. That was pretty funny.
Get what you pay for.
No, I realized that. I did find a picture
He
of
can look all he wants.
her in the bridesmaid's dress that she wore at our wedding, and it's a picture of her looking at him, and that just kind of said what they had together. So it was pretty cool. And then I thought about the dogs, Maxie and Shelly, out in the backyard, and how many times he would throw that tennis ball. Yeah, the Australian
That
blue
yard got
heeler.
ripped up.
Yeah, and I love to hear him talk. So I'm glad he became a part of our family and gave us you and that.
And you told her not to talk.
Huh?
You told her not to talk.
Yeah, I told her not to talk to the kids, let Mark do all the talking so they would pick up the Australian accent. Huh?
It worked for a bit.
It did work for a bit. Yeah. But that southern draw's a little strong.
Yeah.
Had to go to Boston maybe.
Well, for a while I was mom,
Yeah.
and the four-wheel thing was a car, not a car, a car. The truck was a pack. I don't know if that's Australian, but just baby car.
Look it up.
And then I was Sweetheart.
Yeah.
One of the boys was asked what his mother's name was, and I think it was Matthew, and he said Sweetheart, Sweetheart, because Mark called me Sweetheart.
All the time.
Yeah,
Not
so
Anne.
like they thought my name was
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
Well, and then just the fact that he knew about what he was going to be dealing with, and really, I mean, taught his doctors so much.
They
about-
listened to him.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of guided his treatment in
And
a lot of ways.
he had
So,
questions.
yeah,
They'd look it up.
yeah,
Trust him.
yeah. So before we go on, I just said a lot of times she would be called Ann Triscott. So brought a Triscott, and everybody's gonna go. We brought some Vegemite, so everybody can taste a little Vegemite on a
Time to
Triscott.
go.
You ever had
Triscott.
Vegemite?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all
But
for
if
me.
you do taste the Vegemite, very little, because it's pungent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I got to know Mark, well, it was about the time you guys were talking, late 80s.
Yeah.
Winston-Salem. I had just gotten hired at the airline, and I guess what, you guys have been married a couple years? I was dating Kathy, and then we'd go up to see your mom, and
86.
we'd go to TJ Deli. I remember just going up, and so really I got to know Mark early on, and just appreciate, these guys were probably just born at that, just got born at that time. And as they say, he was a great dad, mellow, loved his dogs, just playing in the backyard, and I remember that. And we lost a lot of time because they did move. You guys moved to Raleigh, and then you moved on to St. Louis, up north, and then we had our kids. So it was really tough to see Mark a lot. I wasn't a golfer. I probably would have been there golfing with you guys if I was all the time. And then we had our own lives. But yeah, the main thing I guess with Mark is kind of what all you guys have said is he was so smart. So if you're coming up to him, it's like, gosh, do I need to think of something smart to say here? Do I got to be a Einstein here and talk about E equals MC squared and all this stuff? And you didn't, he was just laid back, and so you were, and we all know the people, there's some people you see out there that it's like, oh gosh, I got to talk to this guy, or it's going to be this tough conversation or difficult with this particular person as I sit down in this situation. But Mark was completely opposite. He was very smart, but you were excited to see him, and it was always, it was going to be an easygoing, relaxed, no pressure, let's talk. That's kind of how he was. And I learned a lot more. I wish I would have been, picked up, the golf, the golf club and hit with him some. I didn't know he enjoyed that golfing as much as he did, but it sounds like that was the case. Yeah. You have a great dad. You guys are so proud of him, what he's done with you guys, with his life, and really how he handled, just how he handled his illness. There's some people that would just roll over and poor me and this kind of thing, and it was not there. He was tough. He kept working. He was traveling around the world. I don't know how he did that. How he traveled around the world with how did he do that?
They didn't even know he was sick.
Yeah, they didn't even know he was sick. The people didn't.
Numerous
So it's
people
like
said they didn't even know.
So.
He didn't want him.
And the work that he was doing with that illness, how could that be? He was an amazing man, and the integrity that he had, and just through and through. And so you just have to be so proud of that legacy, what he was and what he is. And you guys are a part of that. You carrying him on. So that's a cool thing. And you guys are doing a neat thing, yourself. So really cool. So see you, Mark.
Well, that's the hard part about being close to last. Everybody's touched on so many things except for the people that have hung out with me for so long that know some of these intricate stories. I don't really have any good stories about, Mark. I live in Texas, so I come out, but I was able to keep up with him. And, everybody talks about the Aussie part, and I'll say I've never met an Aussie I didn't like. Until there was this one lady on our block, and I found out she was from the UK, so it was okay.
Was she Aussie or she not? Yeah.
So that saying still stands. But traveling up here and getting to visit, and I remember when Ann first met him, there was a glimpse. So touched on that. It was huge. You could tell you were in love right off the bat. Just so many things about him. Everybody has touched on everything I think about, and fired up some good memories about him too, and just how selfless he was. Is that the correct word?
That's a great word.
He just is so good at listening, engaging himself in you, and it was just amazing to know him, and just everything he did. It was just, I never felt inferior to him because he never made you feel that way. He welcomed you. He was an incredible person. I just can't say enough about him. He was just somebody that you want to just take a little piece of him here and there and be that person. I'll never have that PhD. But he is, just.
But he was a surfer, and
Yes,
you're
and I
surfers.
always
You guys could talk
he
about
always
waves.
wanted to talk about that. And,
Yeah.
he would find something that you were interested in, and fortunately he was in it too. But he was just a gentle giant, and I would hate to have ever seen the wrath he could have created had he ever gotten mad.
You could tell when he was mad because he'd get that little lip twitch.
Well, I'm glad I never saw that.
I never saw that. But he rolled off. I mean, I know there was
A snarl.
there was bumps in the road, with the one guy that, different people really in his career that tried to take credit for what he did.
Yep.
And move along, and it was very difficult because a lot of these people were above him and could kind of control how things went out, and he just kept working his way through it and got past all these things. I remember all that,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Danny learned something from the Australians. Don't ever try and drink them under the table. For the wedding reception, Dan and Mark,
Oh, I didn't know you knew about that.
I deliberately slept through it.
What was this now?
And I heard it, and I wouldn't get up because I didn't want to clean up the vomit.
Was it Danny? Yeah.
That's
This
the
is
same
not about
night.
me. Okay?
That's the same night Danny told Mark he better be good to me. That he was marrying your aunt or something, right?
My cool aunt.
Do you remember that? My cool aunt.
No, I don't remember that. I remember somebody telling me.
Yeah, I remember that. Better be good to her. Sweet little nephew.
Well, I think the first time that I met Mark was at your all's wedding, and that was a really pretty wedding. Then sometimes at the Thanksgiving, and he would have some pictures, and there's like interesting stories about your travels, and he showed us pictures of the cockatoos that were the wild ones that on the beach and just wander around and just come up to you, and I thought that was just like, I was like, are you for real? I mean, they're just walking right now. So pictures like that, and then I remember visiting in St. Louis and then in New York, and he taught Chelsea how to play the didgeridoo. And well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she got we had several of them.
Yeah, she got to try it.
She was so excited about that, and then she had started, when she started school, I guess it was middle school, she had to do social studies, and they gave her Australia, and she was so excited because she got to stand up and talk about the didgeridoo and talk about things that kids in class were really interested in.
But she had a crush on Mark.
As anybody did.
He used to come and visit us to go to the golf tournaments and stay with us, and I guess through swim team or something, or the Wells Fargo or something, chance that we had tickets to go or something. And I remember one year, I guess Chelsea was in school or something, and he was in the other house, and he stayed downstairs in her room, and he kept asking for the bar, and he was looking for soap.
A bar of
A bar of soap, and all I had were shower gels.
Yeah, your fancy gels. He
And
didn't
I
like
had
the
to go,
gels.
I finally found a thing of goat's milk soap in a bar. And I said, would this be okay? And so every time he stayed, I always made sure I had him a bar.
A bar.
It sounded like he was doing something with a goat or something. He'd have a bar. A bar of what? Bar soap. Bar soap. No, we don't have any soap made out of
getting
sheep.
the bugs.
I'm sorry, we don't.
Get the bugs.
That's so cool.
Getting on the insects.
I'm glad we got to go to some of the. We got to go to a few of the tournaments too. I got to go along, but I didn't realize he was even sick until a couple times you mentioned some medication or something. But we got the cart in the handicap, and I thought,
Yeah.
and we got in the golf tournaments really quick. And so I was glad we got to go.
even though it was really hot last year, we were also, I'm glad we got to go. And he got to walk a good bit, and kept going. He was always following the other Australian. Jason Day, Adam Scott.
We always knew
Keeping up with
every Aussie playing golf or in the NBA.
Yeah.
We made sure of that.
Very nice and considerate every time we were visiting. Chill.
Chill. Well, let's see. Like Mary, the first time I ever laid eyes on Mark was at Mark and Ann's wedding. Mary and I got married the same year. I thought, what a handsome couple, and they were obviously madly in love, and it was a beautiful ceremony. And then walked up to him afterwards and shook hands, introduced myself. He goes, "Hello, mate." I'd never had any experience anything Australian before in my life. Never talked to anybody Australian. Never read anything about them. Never seen one in a movie. Mate, mate. Didn't you just get you one of those?
That would be me.
I mean, I was really confused, but we had a really nice conversation, and then to be quite frank, we all just sort of drifted apart for a while because we were having kids and they were living in different places and so forth. And then through the get together up at Kathy's place, we started to see each other there, and started to bond over golf, over sports in general, but golf in particular. And one time we were down at Sylvia and Eddie's down in Atlanta, and I can't remember what we were down there for. So I had my golf clubs with me because they live somewhere near a golf course or own a golf course or whatever it was. And I talked to Mark previously and said, let's play some golf when we get down there. And he forgot his clubs. So, I can't play. Well, Eddie has clubs, doesn't he? Well, I guess he does. Yeah, and so Eddie had clubs, or somebody had clubs, whoever it was. But I don't have shoes. We got tennis shoes, don't you? Well, yeah, I got tennis shoes. So, let's go play. So he went out and shot like an 83. Best score he'd ever had in his life. Wow. It's the first time we ever played golf, and he goes, we're going to do this more often, And every time we got together, we could after that. We did play golf. And then I got some tickets to the Masters, which obviously was pretty hard to come across. And I actually called up, and Mark and Ann were driving down the road, and it was wherever y'all were living that the driver couldn't talk on the cell phone.
New York.
New York, yeah, okay. And so Ann answered the phone, and she was relaying the message to him, wanted to take him to golf tournaments. I've got tickets to Augusta. And she said he literally ran off the road. Where? And I said, when? I said, well, they only do Augusta once a year, so then, okay? And so he came down and went to the tournament with Don and Gary, and we all had a great time going down there. It was just a blast, and he really enjoyed watching everybody play. And I think we stood about 4 feet from Tiger Woods, and he was teeing off one time, and he goes, I thought he went there as big as I thought he was going to be. And so it was just a wonderful time. And then we got into football, and we got into basketball, and it just went on and on and on, is what it amounts to. So we had a wonderful relationship. We never saw each other enough. Spent a lot of time on the phone together talking. Just really enjoyed it. Never really felt like I was being talked down to like you do with a lot of smart people. It was always just friendship, good time, enjoyability. He had a lot of questions about what I did for a living and how I help people and so forth. And I was glad to share all that information. It was obviously really appreciated. It was great. It really was. And then when we didn't get a chance to go up to Boston to say goodbye to him, I said, we have got to do something, whatever it is, and that's why we're here. Okay. So, last thing is you two. Okay. So, Shane, you're first.
Well, I met Mark at a very young age.
The one-liner of the night.
As a couple seconds old.
He was talking to you while you were here. Yes, he was.
You guys summed him up so well. From the kindness to the strength to how humble he could be. And very rarely did you ever see him brag, or he really didn't. I remember once when I was very young, different side of him, the disciplinary side of him. Thank you.
Once a mother, always a mother.
I have no idea what I did. I was probably 7, and but I remember the punishment. I remember being walked through the tool shed and the backyard and picking out what I was going to get hit with.
Boy, that's old school right there.
Yeah. With a scientific spin. He, we analyzed the sticks with the flex.
A physics lesson.
And we're testing them out.
On the couch?
It was probably about half an hour. And then we landed on this paint stir. And it was the perfect head velocity.
So Mark was a terrorist.
Yeah. And then I was leaning over the couch, ready for the hit, and I'm hysterically crying at this point, screaming bloody murder, and then he just hits the couch and says, "Don't do that again." No idea what I did.
And left a mark up here.
Mark left a mark.
Mark left a mark
Yeah, no,
in the brain.
he loved me in that. So much. Pretty obvious how proud he was at every turn, every accomplishment. How strong he was when that passed. I think he kind of kept us together. Couldn't have asked for a better dad.
Yep.
Can you relate this recent story where you guys got into some argument about a beer can or something and you wound up writing?
No.
What was that?
Yeah. So we were going out to Hamptons, was it?
Hamptons in New York to meet some of the Australian relatives out there.
And I'm a manufacturing engineer, and so I don't get to talk down to him ever because of his intellect, right? But we had this argument about how they manufacture the tab on a beer can, and I'm thinking, yes, I got this.
Finally.
And it's a very detailed cut in the tab. And,
It was a decorative cut.
yeah, it was too much detail to be a stamp, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking they have a sheet of these blanks and they run a wire EDM to them and do this precision cut. And he's like, no, it's not cost effective, they're going to do a stamp. And I think I got him here. So I email Lagunitas, the manufacturer of the beer.
In California.
And I explained the situation, and
It was Father's Day.
I said my dad's a brilliant biologist. I never get to win these kinds of arguments, but I think I might get him here. They eventually got back to us. They had to talk to the canning department to get it. Drum roll, please. He was ready. They sent him some prizes for beating his son.
Full of beer. At least it wasn't with a
Not
mixture.
Fridge magnets.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Shane, but your father won this one.
Again.
Hats off to Dad.
Using the brain.
Yeah. From the beginning, he was a father.
Just a second. Can you move the light underneath you? You're in shadows here.
What is it?
Thanks.
Yeah, he was a father's hen because Matt somehow broke his collarbone on the way out, so of me, and and so he was worried about how people were holding him, so he was always hovering, right?
Like,
Yeah. But even after the clavicle healed and the second son came along and he was strong and healthy, and Matt was then again strong and healthy, and he was always the father hen, always sort of hovering over his boys, but you know that they were his first love, not his first love, his constant love, and that's the way I liked it. He got a lot of quality time with them when he was kind of in between grants with his scientific work. You get an NIH or whatever kind of grant for a year and a half, and then no work for 6 months. So me as a flight attendant on B-scale, I was the breadwinner. B-scale, which was a joke. So I would work, 75, 80 hours for 3 months, and then 55 hours for 3 months. So he got a lot of quality time with the boys. I actually pushed him down when they started walking, so if I was away on a trip, so I could see him. Oh, look, he's walking. But he was gentle, he was wise, he was patient, he was protective till the end of me. By not complaining, he was so strong. And he just powered through everything, and he never gave up hope. And he wouldn't stop working even when the stem cell transplant was looming in the distance. He wanted to still go to work. He tried to convince the doctor that his office was right by the back door and he would not be around any germs if he went into the back door and straight into his office and then put up a quarantine sign. Because when you have stem cell transplant, you're quarantined for whatever 3 months. But strongest, most gentle, hopeful, loving, interesting, knew something about everything. His power of focus on something, you'd be talking to him and he'd be looking at a cell phone and you think, he doesn't know what I'm saying, so you say something bizarre, but most of the time he would know exactly. He'd just pick up where you thought you would get him, and he would know. He was listening, but he could still concentrate on this, but hear you. And make you feel important. But he'd come home from these international trips, and I knew he needed his downtime and to relax and to just kind of be off for a bit, because he was always having to be on at work. But I love of my life. I'll cherish every day we had together, and I feel like he is having a great time now. He's with Matthew. They're cutting up. They're doing tricks up there and jokes on people and having a good time and taking care of us. And I feel like he's with Shane while Shane's building this house, practically, from the beams in that he's working on. Because Mark finished basements and he built a couple decks at couple different houses. So he was handy like that, but I don't think even Mark would have taken on this monumental task with this house. But it's been good therapy, and Shane's let me go over and beat things up and tear things down and
Sledgehammer to the bathtub.
Yeah, sledgehammer to a cast iron tub by myself for about 2.5 hours. Felt good.
I didn't ask her to do that.
No, he did not. He did not. He was doing it one day at 5:30. People were getting home from work, and he was worried about making too much noise for the neighbors. And so I thought, I'll go over there in the afternoon and do it a little bit. And I just kept going and going and going. And
you
I sent
sore
him a
the
picture and
next
told
day?
him I was tearing stuff down. Huh?
So were you sore the next day? It
I
was like,
wasn't.
She had the right wall, though, didn't she?
It was a tub.
Yeah.
A Harvest Gold bathtub.
Tell them about the historical thing you found in the roof.
The house is so old, they used newspaper for insulation, not a fire hazard. And they found it. It's a newspaper from 1913 with inaugural parade of President Taft.
wow.
That's
cool.
It's in the back of a car, a convertible. And some people recognize the man beside them. I don't remember who that was.
I suggested that she call it Historical Society, and maybe they would come out and take the roof down for her.
Maybe you should do that, Shane. But I appreciate everybody coming out here tonight and sharing. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Mary and Randy.
Yeah, thanks,
Let's circle up here and finish up with a prayer. Come on, join us, Mary.
Tell us when the hair starts burning.